is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Now at 4, winds are howling across Southern California, making for dangerous conditions on the roads and bringing down trees all over the area. Trees, big and small, toppling over in parts of the Conejo Valley, San Fernando Valley, San Gabriel Valley. Homes, cars, sidewalks, all damaged and power lines knocked down. In the Inland Empire, powerful winds have been blasting the region. Take a look. This 18-wheeler overturned on the 210 freeway in Fontana. This happened this morning just before 8 a.m. One driver told us she is scared to go around these big trucks when winds are whipping like they have been today. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Juan Fernandez. Amy Johnson is off this afternoon. Look out from our live cameras right now all across the Southland. Sunny SoCal turning into the Windy City as strong gusts could be felt no matter where you live. We have team coverage for you on the wind damage. Jasmine Veal is in the San Gabriel Valley. Michelle Gili in the Inland Empire. But first, meteorologist Marina Jurica is tracking the howling winds in your next weather forecast. Marina?
Juan, we continue to see those gusty winds. We are chiseling away at them, which is the good news. So we will gradually see these winds die down as we move into the next 4 to 6 hours. And then overnight tonight into tomorrow, we'll be left with about 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. But they have been blustery, up to 75, even 85 mile per hour gusts across the region were noted, especially earlier this morning. But now we are starting to move those down, which is great. 40 mile per hour winds still kicking. Wind gusts in Simi Valley, Santa Clarita at 43, 36 in Wrightwood, 27 in Claremont, 26 in Pasadena, 31 LAX, 35 in Santa Ana. But these are what were reported just a few hours ago. Arrowhead Springs 83 miles per hour, Rancho Cucamonga 81, Fremont Canyon 78, Ontario at 58 miles per hour. So of course with the recent rains we were very concerned about a lot of trees falling, and that'll still be a concern as we start to see those winds die down later on this afternoon. But the worst of it, we are over, which is great. So we still have a high wind warning for much of Orange County into the Inland Empire for wind gusts of up to 65 miles per hour. But at least now that is tapering as well. And we will be looking at a much better day tomorrow with only an isolated shower chance as that area of low pressure moves in closer to the Inland Empire and the valleys. I'll have more as we approach the weekend and when those winds will finally kick out, all coming up. One.
All right, we'll check back. Marina, thank you. As we've been reporting, those Santa Ana winds causing big problems across SoCal today. Look at this behind me here. Trees toppled over power lines and homes leaving thousands without electricity. Our team coverage continues with KCAL's Jasmine Veal in La Crescenta, where the wind did some damage today. Jazz.
A lot of damage, Juan. I mean, this breeze right now is such a nice break from those strong gusts that we've seen up here, especially in the hills and the mountains. We've had a lot of minor damage, like broken branches, like the one you see behind me, and debris all over these streets, but major damage as well. Just up the street from here, a home's garage crushed by a tree, and people all over the San Gabriel Valley telling me that this is the worst wind event they've seen in years. The Santa Ana winds blew in like a bulldozer.
It's just unbelievable.
The strong gusts knocked over trees Thursday in the San Gabriel Valley. No one was hurt when this tree fell onto a family's home in La Crescenta.
Based on seeing my mom's emotions, it was bad. It scared her because she was holding my 4-month-old baby.
Noah Portzel was sleeping when he says he was woken up by this tree that fell into his neighbor's house and also onto his new car.
Took out part of their garage and their 2 cars. I heard it went all the way through the living room while I was sitting there.
So you can see right here is where this huge tree uprooted, crashing through the roof of this home, falling across the driveway onto those 2 parked cars and then landing onto the roof of the home right next door.
My wife yelled, "Hey, a tree went down."
In Altadena on Beverly Way, 3 trees toppled into each other, landing on this home.
I was standing there, me and my sister, looking at the tree in our yard, and glanced to the left, and we saw it fall down.
Charles Phillips and his sister saw those trees fall onto their neighbor's house. Luckily, they were not home at the time.
Like a crack, yeah. Like when it hit It was like a crack sound.
Thank God nobody was in the house. That's a blessing.
LA County Fire positioned a strike team of 5 engines in the La Crescenta and Altadena areas to prepare for these damaging winds.
So fortunately, no serious injuries. We did have a small structure fire in the area. That was most likely a result of the wind, and then a lot of calls for service for wires down, for trees down.
The wind toppled trees in Pasadena and Sierra Madre, taking out transformers and cutting power.
Kind of a big boom, these ferocious winds.
Restaurant canopies were blown over and ripped apart.
I kind of feel like I'm waiting for Dorothy's house to come and get the Wicked Witch of the West or the East, whoever it is.
Debbie Gomez kept her kids out of school.
We've already lost power. We figured we'd lose more power. Roads are blocked, trees are down, and we just kind of thought better safe than sorry.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, right? What a day. Public Works crews, I've seen them driving all over this neighborhood, cleaning up what they can. Now, as for that homeowner and those homeowners with damage, they are hoping their homeowner's insurance will cover it. I just spoke to some insurance agents who say that wind-driven damage is standard coverage. Live here in La Crescenta, Jasmine Veal, KCAL News.
Yeah, they're going to need that insurance. Thanks so much, Jazz. Well, the wind is fierce in parts of the Inland Empire as well, whipping trees and knocking over trucks and fueling fires, destroying a mobile home. KCAL News reporter Michelle Geely live in Riverside with a look at the damage there. Michelle?
Juan, we're going to start with the trees here as well, because this is probably the most dramatic thing that we have seen today. These old cypress trees are so tall, and they line the street here in this one neighborhood in Riverside. A neighbor tells me that she has been worried about these trees falling for quite some time. And I just want to show you how big the trunk of this tree is. It was just cut by a crew. And check out the root ball.
Dog saved my life, no doubt about it.
A wind whip fire in Eastvale destroyed 2 mobile homes.
Multiple reports were coming in right on top of each other. En route, our initial units called a second alarm fire due to the wind and the close proximity.
Keith Levine credits his dog's incessant barking, which woke him up this morning as the fire burned 2 doors away. Extreme wind put his and his neighbors' lives in jeopardy.
It was scary because my back neighbors were watering down my house, and I started watering down my house. It was too close.
It was a close call for the driver of this 18-wheeler. Strong winds on the 210 freeway in Fontana flipped the Mack truck on its side.
So far, what I understand, he's okay. He was wearing a seatbelt when he turned over.
It happened during morning rush hour, impacting the commute. The tow truck crew siphoned the diesel out of the empty big rig on the side of the road so it could eventually be turned upright. Across the Inland Empire, howling wind made for an unpleasant, dusty day. It was so intense that pieces of roofing material were torn off in Jurupa Valley at a mini mart. Owner Tony Kay says business isn't good when the weather is bad.
Yeah, the crazy wind today, and then it took off the roof. So I hope some city can pay for me to fix the roof.
Some of the old trees in Riverside didn't stand a chance in these gusty conditions. Recent rain, which soaked the roots, may be to blame as well. A 100-year-old cypress tree nearly crushed Julie Mason's roof on Edgewood Place. She wasn't home at the time. The city will repair what minor damage she has.
The cypress, they can die from not having enough water. And the city trims them, and they try to keep up with trimming them and everything, but sometimes one will die and you don't realize it, or it's real dry, and in a wind like this, down it goes.
And back live now in Riverside. Here is a look at that roof. The top of the cypress bent it ever so slightly, but there is no other damage, and no damage to the inside of Julie Mason's home. Just across from me here, the only real damage is a torn up sidewalk. That's the latest live in Riverside. I'm Michelle Geely. Juan, back to you.
Yeah, Julie got lucky today. Michelle, thank you. And we will continue to track the winds on this gusty Thursday on KCAL News. Also, for the latest on how your community is being impacted, just head over to kcalnews.com. We have full forecasts for your area. State lawmakers are reconsidering how active shooter drills are carried out in schools amid concerns that realistic drills are causing trauma for students who participate. KCAL's Danya Backus looks at proposed legislation that would standardize these drills. A warning, the video in this story is from drills and simulations, but can still be very disturbing.
Shots fired come from the southeast of the complex.
Active shooter drill simulations are taking place in schools across the country.
White male, black shirt, tan hat.
This one in Corona, California was planned in advance and used law enforcement and volunteers to mimic a real-life situation. But it's drills like these that California Assembly member Chris Ward says, without a proper playbook, can go too far.
You would see these really wild stories about a principal who decided that it'd be a good idea to have, fake gunmen come onto campus, or asking students to portray victims lying in blood.
Ward has proposed legislation that would standardize how California public schools conduct active shooter drills, similar to the way fire and earthquake drills are regulated.
We're seeing some of the data come in from national studies that these activities are causing more trauma, more harm than good.
According to the Education Commission of the states, at least 45 states require schools to conduct safety drills, and it's mandatory local law enforcement be involved in at least 17 states. Ward's bill includes, among other things, prohibiting the use of simulated gunfire, parental notification that a drill is taking place, and an opt-out provision for parents who do not want their student to participate.
Simulation might be a good idea maybe for the older kids, not so much for the younger kids. But at the same time, I feel that with my kids, I want to maintain, I want to keep it real with them. I want to let them know, hey, this is the reality.
Indiana's governor just signed a school safety bill that no longer requires students to participate in drills that include prop guns, pellet guns, and simulations of gunshots and injuries. Danya Backus, KCAL News.
Coming up here at 4, a freeway shootout. A pair of truckers exchanged gunfire when a case of road rage spirals out of control. And look out below, baseball-sized hail rains down on one city, sending residents scrambling for cover. And a campus lifeline, a local community college resource, is fueling students' hunger to learn in more ways than one. Caught on video, a pair of truckers exchanging gunfire while driving on a Florida highway. This happened north of Orlando on Interstate 75. Investigators say one man sparked the shootout after reportedly throwing a water bottle at another trucker and then opening fire. The second trucker then returned fire. The trucker who reportedly started it was arrested. Neither driver was hurt. Developing news this afternoon, police have arrested a man they say attacked two children, one in Santa Monica, the other one in Venice. Assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk now. And Mike, did this person know the kids?
Yeah, one, no, and that is obviously terrifying for the people that are involved in this. Now, the first one happened in Santa Monica over the weekend in a busy area when this person came out and apparently hit a 6-year-old child and then took off. That incident was reported to Santa Monica police, and since then, they've been trying to find that person. Well, today in Venice, LAPD says they did. I want to show you some video of the area where today's incident happened, because today was not just about finding him. The man is also accused of attacking another child. This is a 7-year-old who apparently, according to LAPD, was walking down the boardwalk with his family from out of town. And while they were there, this person who is alleged to be homeless came up behind the victims and the family and hit the child in the back of the head. That child's parents then called the LAPD. LAPD was able to get there in time for them to be directed to the suspect, who they have then taken into custody. Now, the LAPD tells me that they are planning on booking him and charging him with assault with a deadly weapon. I asked LAPD, well, what was the deadly weapon? LAPD says it was his hand. Since the child is so small and 7 years old, and this person is obviously an adult, they are charging him with assault with a deadly weapon. And Juan, really quickly, I just got an email from Santa Monica PD while we were sitting here talking. They have now identified him as 23-year-old Ashanti Lamar Morgan. He is believed to be homeless. They're going to work with LAPD to file felony child abuse charges in their case as well. Juan?
It got real serious real fast.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you. Nearly half of the student body at one local community college is struggling to feed themselves on a daily basis. The food pantry at Long Beach Community College has become a necessity for some of those students trying to earn a degree there. KCAL News reporter Jeff Nguyen shows us this vital lifeline.
For Trinae Bailey, the Viking Vault at Long Beach City College is a lifeline.
I come in here every day. Sometimes I don't, there's not enough food at home.
This food pantry serves the community college where the administration says about 44% of the student body is struggling to meet their basic needs. There are nearly 800 food pantries on college campuses across the country, according to the nonprofit Trellis Company. A decade ago, there were just 80. About a quarter of the students at LBCC are also responsible for a child. During the 2022-2023 school year, the pantry saw 4,900 visits from parenting students. And from last July to January of this year, there were 5,500. Diapers and hygiene products are offered as well. No questions asked.
If a student is enrolled in at least one unit, then they'll have access to enter into the Viking Vault.
We have eggs, and we have chicken, and we have produce.
The superintendent and president says the program launched in 2019 as a pantry in the student lounge, but it grew to what now looks like a mini mart that sits prominently in the middle of campus.
We want to destigmatize. We don't want students to feel like there's some shame attached to being able to access the services.
What has the vault done for your grades?
It's helped improve them a lot.
Bailey lives with her stepmom and niece, so there are added benefits at home.
Instead of eating there, I'll leave it for my niece, and then I'll just come here and get something to eat.
At the heart of any giving economy is the ability to pay it forward. At Long Beach City College, Jeff Nguyen, KCAL News.
Just listen to that. A wild night for some people in the Kansas City area. A storm spawned baseball-sized hail that did a lot of property damage. One resident shot this video holding two of the large hailstones next to a baseball for comparison. You can see the hail pinging against her family's home and cars. The balls of ice shattered the sunroof and windows on their car and left countless dents. It even left holes in their swimming pool cover. It was that strong. The resident said it sounded like pumpkins were being dropped on her house and that it lasted 9 long minutes. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. All right, meteorologist Marina Jurica is tracking strong winds in our weather forecast, but also, Marina, you have some interesting facts on that hail we just saw there.
That's right. If you actually cut a hailstone one in half and you open it up, it actually looks like tree rings. And each ring represents how many times that hailstone went up and down inside the thunderstorm cloud, which is really cool.
Each time the water freezing a little more, right?
Yep.
Wow,
Every
amazing.
time it goes up and then it freezes and then melts a little bit and then goes back up and freezes again. So if you cut it open, if it's large enough, we don't get really that large hail here in California, but if you ever get the opportunity to do that, it's a really cool experiment to cut it open and see how many trips it took up and down that storm. But yes, we are talking wind, and it has been so windy here all day today. Wherever you were, I'm sure you felt it. 64 degrees currently in Ontario, and winds still kicking northeast at about 21 miles per hour with gusts of up to 33, but that is substantially better than just 2 hours ago. So we are chiseling away at these wind gusts, and that'll be the case throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening, overnight tonight, and we'll wake up to a much quieter Friday than what we woke up to today. Winds right now gusting at 40 miles per hour in Simi Valley, 43 in Santa Clarita. Those are our hot spots right now. 31 in LAX, downtown LA, Malibu, 35 Santa Ana, 36 in Wrightwood, 32 in Chino, 27 in Riverside, and 38 in Lancaster with 39 in Palmdale. We have been seeing some visibility issues in the Antelope Valley with blowing dust, so keep that in mind if you're traveling in that region. Our high wind warning has now been extended for Orange County and much of the Inland Empire through 11 a.m. on Friday, with wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour likely as this storm system slowly but surely moves out. But at least the wind warning has been lifted now for Ventura and LA County. But these are impressive wind gust numbers earlier today. San Gabriel Mountains at 86 miles per hour, Malibu Hills 65, Sun Valley 63, Ontario 58, and Costa Mesa 51. So the good news is as we are moving in a positive direction, but we've still got a few more hours that we're going to have to be cognizant of the dangers of this wind. So breezy evening, touch cooler, isolated storms possible tomorrow, mainly for the Inland Empire and the valley locations, as temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. As we put our future cast in motion, you can see winds are slowly dying down except for the mountains and our higher overpasses. That'll continue through the overnight. So a very breezy evening. Think of a stack of pancakes. If you try to get any air squeezed into anything that's stacked high, it's going to have to force itself through. So those pressure gradients are tight between these two systems. And so that's why we continue to see those winds, as we will until that low pressure nudges just a little bit closer to us to give us a slight chance for an isolated shower or two as we head into the extended period. So just keep that in mind for tomorrow. Otherwise, the weekend looks much better. Definitely not windy, with upper 60s on Saturday and low 70s on Sunday. Back to you, Juan.
All right. Thank you so much, Marina. Up next here at 4, a twist in the TikTok saga. The one-time White House figure now interested in buying the embattled social media platform. Plus, gliding on water, a historic supersonic jet makes its final voyage home by boat and not air.
4, 3, 2, 1.
SpaceX successfully launches its third test flight of Starship, making it the most powerful rocket to reach orbital speeds. The spacecraft was lost before its scheduled splashdown, but SpaceX is still considering this launch a success. It flew much further than prior flights. The future of Starship is critical to both SpaceX and NASA. The hope here is to one day use it to carry astronauts to the moon. The historic Concorde jet returns to New York City after an 8-month-long maintenance project. The record-making jet made its final journey back to the Intrepid Museum atop a barge on the Hudson River. The aircraft has been restored after a facelift that included a new paint job to match its original markings and colors. The British Airways Concorde supersonic jet holds the record for the fastest transatlantic crossing by a passenger aircraft. A new twist now in the TikTok saga. Former Trump Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is interested in buying TikTok. Mnuchin said he's assembling a team of investors to make a bid on the social media platform. The House passed a measure on Wednesday to ban the China-linked app if it does not sell to a U.S. owner. The bill still faces an uncertain path in the Senate. President Biden said he would sign the bill if it makes it to his desk. Coming up here at 4:30, hailing a driverless ride. We hop in a robo-taxi as Waymo expands service in Los Angeles. Plus, it's a brain disorder that makes communication tough for millions. How one group is helping people retrain their brains. Well, it's official. Waymo driverless taxis hit the streets today. Tens of thousands of people are ready to order one for free. And so did KCAL News reporter Rachel Kim. She's taking us all on a ride.
Driverless taxis have hit the streets of Los Angeles. We wanted to show you what to expect, so we ordered a ride on the Waymo One app. 50,000 people have already signed up for its driverless ride-hailing service. We started in Beverly Hills. Our destination, Cheviot Hills.
Let's start our ride. Here we go.
My photographer Francisco got in the back seat and I rode shotgun. No driver, just a moving steering wheel.
So everything seems to be going very smoothly right now. I'm watching the steering wheel kind of nervously, but so far so good. It has stopped at every intersection and it's keeping a pretty safe distance from the car in front of us.
Waymo expanded into LA after they began charging for around-the-clock rides in San Francisco 7 months ago. The company has been doing this in Phoenix since 2020.
Although Waymo isn't charging for rides in Los Angeles to start, the company says they'll eventually start collecting fares from passengers. For now, the free rides in LA will cover a 63-square-mile area from Santa Monica to downtown LA.
Waymo's robotaxis haven't been involved in any major accidents, but some local officials like LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn believe they pose risks to public safety. She said in a statement, "This is a dangerous decision. These robotaxis are far too untested, and Angelinos shouldn't be big tech's guinea pigs. Decisions like this one should be informed by cities, not made over city objections. I urge our state legislators to pass SB 915 and give cities the ability to regulate these robotaxis and keep our roads safe for all of us." Waymo tells us they work closely with local public safety officials to ensure the safe introduction of their technology. Their research and studies show the Waymo driver avoids collisions better than an always attentive human driver.
We're almost there. It says arrival in 2 minutes.
Throughout our 13-minute ride, no close calls, but a lot of double takes, looks, and stares from people realizing there was no one in the driver's seat. We arrived on time, safe and sound.
Cautiously optimistic is how I would put it. Yeah, I'd like to give it a try. Yeah, I feel like if it's reached this point with enough research, then it's worth, giving it a chance.
Please close the front passenger door.
Rachel Kim, KCAL News.
Well, fully self-driving vehicles are only operating in a handful of cities, but there is still fear and uncertainty about them. A new AAA survey found 66% of drivers expressed fear about fully self-driving vehicles, a number similar to last spring's survey and up from 2 years ago. While some drivers aren't ready to give up full control to the steering wheel, the survey found that they are open to driver assistance systems.
There's some pluses to them, but the technology doesn't seem to be advanced enough to the point where it could be trusted to be faultless.
For sure not. I feel like right now it's not the time. It's not that popular on the streets, So once it gets more and more.
Well, it's happening. They're out there. AAA is working with automakers to educate consumers and build drivers' confidence in the cars of the future. Well, the health of high-profile celebrities such as Bruce Willis and Wendy Williams has shined a light on a brain condition known as aphasia. Now there's a group working to help people retrain their brains. The condition makes even the simplest task, like speaking, a challenge. Roughly 2 million Americans suffer from aphasia. A group called the International Aphasia Movement is helping patients on their long road to recovery.
We're working on neuroplasticity. That means different areas of the brain opening up. So with a lot of repetition, people can relearn some of the skills that they lost.
Right now, advocates are urging lawmakers on Capitol Hill to reauthorize the Traumatic Brain Injury Program Act, which helps fund rehab and community support initiatives. Up next here at 4, jumping through cybersecurity hoops. The new way companies are marketing hack-resistant gadgets and appliances to give people more peace of mind. Plus, showcasing the sphere, students are putting their artistic skills to the test on a giant canvas unlike any other. Thanks so much for watching KCAL News at 4. Our next newscast is just moments away on KCAL News at 5 on CBS Los Angeles over on Channel 2. And we're always on KCALnews.com and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. We'll see you again tonight for more news on KCAL News at 8, 9, and 10. Enjoy the afternoon.